Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
It is me, is your co-hostess with the mostest. I am the big man in the little corner in the Pacific Northwest. I am the sensational one, Sean Bryant. My host, Mr. Pretty Boy Doug Masters, has taken a trip to the ER. Hopefully he'll return next week. So I am filling in tonight. We have the man with the stuff. He is the stuff. Marcus Buff Bagwell. Welcome to the show.
Marcus Buff Bagwell, what's going on, guys? How's it going?
It's going great, bud.
Good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Well, then kiss my ass!
So, Buff, what I usually like to start out with is I like to, talk about your beginning of your career, how you got started, who your main trainers were, and what got you into professional wrestling.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Who I fucked, who I didn't fuck, things like that, right?
Yep.
Cool. No, dude, go ahead, man. I'm ready, bro. This is, my start became in 90. I was 20 years old, stripping at a place called the Lemon Pill in Atlanta, Georgia, off Buford Highway. And it was the only male strip club that females could go to in the whole city of Atlanta at the time. So 18 and up could get in, but the 18, 21 couldn't drink. So I'm paying the bills doing that, trying to become a pro wrestler. And I am, at the time, the Fabulous Fabian was my very first character's name. And I was working for a company called North Georgia Wrestling. And a lot of guys came out of that, believe it or not. Scotty Riggs, Glacier, Raven, Disco Inferno. I mean, out of that little small wrestling, that we wrestled at Sparkle skating rinks, a lot of talent actually came out of that little group. And, but then it went pretty quick to the Handsome Stranger out in Dallas at the old Sportatorium in Dallas for Global Wrestling Federation. And we were going to be like the third powerhouse. We were going to be up there. It was going to be WCW, WWF, and it was going to be, GWF, Global Wrestling Federation. We were on ESPN. We had a great time spot. We had the Patriot, X-Pac. He was called the Lightning Kid. We had Patriot. We had Eddie Gilbert, hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. We had old timers, young timers. We had. So yes, it was really. I learned a lot. That's what I learned as the Handsome Strangers. When I learned I could do this for a living. I walked into the locker room and the baby faces and the heels were all in the same room, and I went, "Wait a minute, you guys can talk before you wrestle?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Fuck, I can do this." I've been thinking I couldn't fucking do it. I could do this fucking easy. So I became, if you watch my career, I became a horrible wrestler as Fabian into this leapfrog drop kicking Handsome Stranger kid because I could talk to my opponent.
Yeah, I remember it a little bit easier. I remember seeing some of those matches with you bringing the flowers out and passing them out to people in the crowd as you would go around the ring and stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I come out. It was, I believe it or not, it actually was Bill Eady's, which is one of the Demolition guys. He thought of the Handsome Stranger. So maybe he's got a lot of things caught up there in his head that he digs or don't dig, but by God, he came up with a Handsome Stranger handing out fucking roses. And not till years later, though, did guys come up to me and go, man, that damn stranger gimmick, that was fun. I enjoyed that, bro. I enjoyed that. And I thought it was a joke and kind of embarrassing and this little mask on my face. Of course, I tried to do the best I could with it, but I thought it was just kind of a corny thing. Let's take the best looking guy in the company and put a fucking mask on his face.
Right, exactly.
So it kind of confused me.
Right. Who are some of the biggest guys that you starting out with that you enjoyed working with? You and Scotty Riggs and Scorpio and Zink. What was it like working with those guys?
It was really good. It was real good, but it also was different. And that's one reason why I give myself, I don't give a fuck if nobody else does, I give myself tons of credit for this because because Scorpio is nothing like Lex Luger. And Lex Luger is nothing like Scotty Riggs. And Scotty Riggs is nothing like Dale Wilkes, the All-American from South Carolina. I mean, so I had to adapt to them.
Right, you had to adapt to their styles.
I had to adapt to them, which made me a better wrestler, but also it made it harder for me. But like I said, my big argument in wrestling to people is always, I'm not saying I'm the only one to ever do it, but I haven't heard nobody else argue with me about it. But I want to know who's out there that's got 6 world tag team titles with 5 different partners. And I have yet to be told anybody that's done that but me. Now, the bad news is you don't get nothing for that except a fucking slap on your ass and fired. But that's the truth.
So, when you left Global, did you go from Global straight to WCW?
Same exact day that Global called me, they were going to sign 3 guys. It was going to be me, Raven, as Scott Anthony, the Palm Beach Heartthrob, and the Patriot were going to be the first 3 names they signed. When they called me the day to tell me that none of us were getting signed and sorry, we're closing shop kind of thing, I literally hung the phone up, and I may be wrong about this. This is not like 100%, but I swear to you, in my heart and my soul, I think it's 100%. It was the exact same day that Magnum TA called me for a meeting with Dusty. So I'm sitting there, just getting the most worst news I ever got in my life. I hang the phone up and I go, what the fuck am I going to do now? And all of a sudden the phone rings and it's Magnum. And he goes, hey man, this is Magnum. I go, Magnum who? Because bro, I didn't watch wrestling. I really didn't. I got this to make fucking money. I did this deal, I did this to make money. It wasn't I was cool when I was fucking born. I didn't get in this to be cool. Yeah. I was already cool. I was already way the fuck cool. So I didn't need that. I wanted to make money and be a wrestler, and that's how I looked at it. So we did so, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But I mean, it just the guys. I was fortunate enough to have such great guys though to work with. That helped a lot, bro. So I was able to adapt to them very easily and be the little one kind of. With Norton, it was vicious and delicious. With Luger, I was, of course, the guy that got the heat on. Even the Patriot, I was always the young rookie getting beat up, making the hot tag to the bigger guy, But I did that good, and I fit that role, and it fit, and it worked, and it paid off. I mean, so I had a 11-year, only 2 guys had an 11-year consecutive run at WCW. That was me and Sting. Everybody else went back and forth.
Right.
And
yeah, you always stayed there.
Guys that would go back and forth would come back and go, Bagwell, are you still here? And I go, shh, don't say nothing, man. I'm trying to slide by here, you know?
Right.
That's a true story. That's no shit. Now, I mean, I had 5 bosses I had to overcome during that, bro. And I wouldn't have overcame Bill Watts unless me and his son were best friends. We happen to be best friends, and that saved me from that job. So it's just a matter of who you like and politics, and it gets ugly up there, bro, when you're making, 6 figures or more, bro. It starts getting ugly.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I've heard some pretty good horror stories.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, man, I have now got a podcast telling these stories a lot on my podcast. So if you ever get a chance, check out my podcast. It's called the Buff and Booch Cast, and it's on podbean.com. And just check it out. It's called the Buff and Booch Cast, and we go in there and just like I'm doing right now, we tell the truth. Tell what's really up. And we go and talk about the show a lot, and just basically tell old good stories that happened, on the road that were hilarious, and just from Rick Steiner projectile shooting shit out of his ass in Orlando, Florida, to Steve Regal getting kicked off airplanes.
What was it? Jenny. We get another caller?
Hello?
Who's this?
This is Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa, what's up?
I'm a huge fan of Buff Bagwell. Huge. I just love him.
Let me guess why. Is it because I'm buff, I'm the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough?
You got that right. In fact, I've got an autographed picture of yours that I can't stop staring at because you're so damn hot.
Take that damn thing above your bed on the ceiling. It works wonders.
Oh, I bet. Oh, Buff, you're a mess. Boy, you and the NWO, man, I always thought that was weird. But I loved it. I didn't care if you were a bad guy. I still thought you were hot.
I appreciate it. I had a guy come up to me the other day, and he came up to our table, and he goes, man, I fucking hated your guts so bad. Listen to me. Give me 2 of those 8x10s. Give me a T-shirt. Give me that documentary. I was like, well, I thought you said you hated me. He goes, oh, man, you're one of my favorite wrestlers. And I love it.
That wasn't the most stupid thing.
Right? They turned me heel, and I really wasn't a heel. I wasn't a bad guy, because when Scott Steiner cut somebody's throat, he really cut somebody's throat.
Yeah.
When I cut my throat, it was kind of funny. I kind of made it funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I wasn't that ruthless heel they wanted me to be. I was more of a fan favorite than I was a heel.
Yep, I had to have surgery yesterday, and trust me, that wasn't fun.
Oh my.
Below or above the waist?
It was a knee. It was a knee replacement that I had. I had to have a knee replacement done. It got infected. They had to take it out and put a stupid, what do you call it in there? One of those spacer things.
Yeah, you got it right. It's actually called a spacer. You're exactly right, because I had to do it 5 times with my hip. You're exactly right.
I've got 2 in my neck, Buff.
And Granny Holster's had 2 total knee replacements in my life, and I'm only 56 years old.
There's a lot of bolts and screws talking on the phone right fucking now, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah.
My second one that I had done, my first one was in 2014, And my second one I had done on my birthday in 2016. I was laying in a hospital bed watching WWE, and I saw my good friend Americos on WWE facing Braun Strowman that night. And I told my husband, I said, wake up. I said, I know I'm highly medicated, but I said, look who's facing Braun Strowman on Monday Night Raw. It was my good friend Americos from Texas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. That's cool when you know somebody on there. That's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yep, I'm there.
Well, thanks for being a fan, darling. I appreciate it so much. If you if you get a chance, go to MarcusBagwell.com, and you can always see where I'm at. My calendar's right there, tells you what city I'm in every weekend, and it just gives you details, and you can buy pictures, or you can even get a thing called a shout out that we're doing with Cameo now. You go to Cameo, and let's say you had a friend that was a big fan. You go on, you pay $50, and I call that friend, and I tell them, hey, what's up? How you doing? Get well soon, or whatever you want me to tell him. And it's pretty cool. It's called Cameo, and it's called giving a shout out. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I was watching way back in the WCW days. My daughter was like young. I think she was like 6 or so. And this sucked. They wouldn't let her talk to Sting without me buying something.
That is ridiculous. I can't believe, to be honest with you, I can't believe they let you talk to Sting, period. Because he was way in the back, bro. I mean, he got way back there, and it was hard to get him.
Yeah. I mean, she loved
quick question,
Sting.
Buff. What was it? What was it like when you were working with the NWO and you and Scott and all the different turns that you had in and around? What was that like working in that locker room like then?
It was at first it was very, very, very it was a lot at first. This is the best way to say it. It was a lot because I turned on Scotty Riggs the night that, Eric said, we're giving WCW 30 days to join the NWO or they're fired. Well, all of a sudden here come me and Riggs, the American males, and we're 1 or 2 time tag team champion. I think we only won once. Me and the Patriot are twice. That's why it's 6 with 5 partners. 6 titles with 5 partners. Cause me and Patriot twice. But it was really very humbling at first. But then once you saw that you were up there with rubbing elbows with Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, you became comfortable and you either started to swim or you sank. And I started swimming.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like people like that there were some that were there, and they were coming out to different music of the NWO, and I never heard them call it that, but other people simply called it the NWO B Squad. I think you were one of the only ones that that went from that music to the main NWO music until you had your own music of Buff Daddy and whatnot. What was that like? Was there people that really just felt that they were really separated to be like an NWO B team of some sorts? Was there any feelings like that?
The only time it really got like that was when the Wolfpack came out. It was a little bit like you're talking about during that time of just, are we wearing, white? But I'll tell you what I said to begin with is exactly right. It was not until the Wolfpack. And then when the Wolfpack was involved, when they got included, then they were going to try to separate and make a NWO team, which is the Wolfpack, and then the B team would have been the black and white. That was the only time it really, truly, out loud got to be the AB team. And it's the only reason why I remember this so vividly is because it's the only time I had all my main friends were like, they had the most power. Now, that wasn't by luck. Back up. That wasn't by choice. That was by luck. I just ended up being good friends with Sting, Lex Luger, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, big name, big friends, So I had some stroke, and so but I never had to use the stroke, and that's the catch. I never had to use it. And then one day in Atlanta, Sting had been off for a little while, and me and Lex have been running the roads, and this is right in my swing. This is right in my wheelhouse when I'm, shredded and ripped and in the best shape and just getting ready to get back to my first match from breaking my neck. But I'd gotten over tremendously as Scotty Steiner's, manager, and he had gotten over tremendously too at the same time, and it worked and it was fun. But honest to God, that night, I'll never forget it. Just imagine everybody wearing black and white tank tops or black and white T-shirts, right? And then all of a sudden, you look around and you see a red and black NWO shirt. And by God, if you're Buff Bagwell, you need to start asking why pretty fucking quick. So I did. I did ask pretty fucking quick. And I found out they were going to be called the Wolf Pack and that I wasn't included. Now, the I wasn't included wasn't said, but it was sure felt. So when Sting came into Atlanta, I said, Sting, I've never, ever, I just had him on my podcast just a couple weeks ago. And it hasn't even aired yet. We've already shot it, but we already taped it, but it hasn't even aired yet. I think it comes out this Sunday, I think. We're on every Sunday at 5 Eastern time. But he came in and I said, bro, I've never had to ask you for help. I've never asked you for that kind of bind. I've never wanted to put you in a bind. I never asked you how much money you make. That's why we're friends, because I just know what to say when to say it. But I need your fucking help, bro, on this one. I said, they have got a Wolf Pack team put together, and it's got the elite 5 to 7 guys, and I'm fucking not included. As soon as I said the word included and finished it with a period, he stood up and walked out of the room. I was like, did he hear what the fuck I said? Or what did I miss it? What, And about 5 minutes he came in, and the big thing when you were even with black and white, even with NWO black and white, and you got the the luxury of being involved in the black and white, you got handed a tank top and a T-shirt. You got handed 2 shirts. That showed that you had your tank top if you wanted to wear a tank top, or your T-shirt, but you were on the team. You were in the game. You were in the NWO. Well, he was gone about 5 minutes. He came in with a red and black tank top and a red and black T-shirt and threw it at me. And he goes, "You're in now."
Oh, wow.
So I was like, "Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I've never had to ask you for anything like that. I hated doing it." I said, "But bro, you know as good as I do. They're trying to fuck me here, and that's not right. You know as good as I do. I'm one of the top guys as far as the group goes. And when you're talking about a group of 8 or 10, I mean, come on, bro. I'm definitely in a group of 8 or 10 as Buff Bagwell." And so he knew that too. It pissed him off, so he went in and got me involved.
Well, see, that's where I kind of thought they really messed that whole NWO thing up to a point. Was, you had that initial crew of you guys with you and Scott Norton and Hogan and the other and Nash and Hall, and So you had that group of like 8 to 10 guys that were just like, it was NWO and it was just you guys against the world. Well, then pretty soon you start bringing on this guy and that guy, and now you've got the A team and the B team, and now you've got 40 guys that are all NWO.
Yeah, if they would have...
To me, I think that kind of blew it out.
Yeah, if they would have cut it back, if they were to cut it back, and just say, had like maybe 10 guys in the NWO and just really just tried to make it this big unit for one, it would have been good. Buffalo's one of them.
Keep in mind, it's easy to say now, but really, really, for starters, you're all exactly right. But let's look at it now from my standpoint, being there. Here's the hottest thing that's happened to wrestling since sliced fucking bread. And everybody wanted to be involved. So everybody that had power got their brother, their uncle, their mother, their whoever involved into the deal, and it worked. It worked. But then it got watered down, and we knew it. Ain't like we didn't know it. We knew it got watered down, and it got watered down pretty quick.
Right.
And it got watered down really quick.
What's your
it got watered down
with Eric Bischoff?
We started doing the well, what happened? Where'd he go? And somebody attacked us, and we lost the guy. And if you remember, that's when all that shit started.
Right. Exactly.
So we knew
Eric Bischoff.
I loved him to death. Eric always did. I've heard he's been dogging me some on his website. On his podcast. But the guy that told me that, I said, well, tell me what he said. And he goes, when you meet Bagwell, you either want to hit him in the head right when you see him, or hit him in the head a little bit later on. And I told the guy, I said, that's pretty fucking accurate. I said, that's actually pretty fucking good. So I didn't see it as dogging me. That's seen as somebody that knows me well. Because even Scott Hall, about a year ago, we went somewhere doing a photo shoot somewhere, and I show up, of course, my shirt shaved, perfect, tan, perfect, in perfect shape, everything perfect. My shoestrings match my T-shirt. And Scott Hall goes, "You are so easy to fucking hate, Bagwell." You know what?
Shame on him.
It's true. I get it. It ain't like I'm arguing against it. I'm saying I'm with you. But don't hate me for being me and me being cool enough to pull out shoestrings and a shirt that's cooler than fucking yours. Don't hate me, bro.
So whose idea was it for the New Blood?
Total, Eric Bischoff. Well, I say total. Eric and Vince Russo, and I'm not quite sure who had the most, but there was both a percentage of both those guys coming up with the New Blood.
What was the idea behind it? Was it to break up the NWO, or?
No, it was brilliant, except the old timers didn't want it. It was absolutely brilliant. It was the move to make. It needed to be done, and the old guys didn't like it. And they had better interviews than us. Think about it. They could go the route of, I fucking slammed Andre the Giant, motherfucker. Y'all are a bunch of New Blood punks. Macho Man, Randy Savage, stab into a Slim Jim, motherfucker. It's just, they had so much more than us, but they still hated the old things. Imagine me going off on Macho or Hulk or somebody that I had to and calling them old and not really wanting to, and going to them first and asking them if it was okay, you know. But one time I got handed a sheet, and Randy Macho Man Savage was off the show that week. And the interview was on a piece of paper that was ripping Randy Savage's ass apart. And I saved the paper because I knew that it would be, I knew there'd be a problem from it. So I saved the piece of paper they give me to read it verbatim like that. And it was something like, you know, listen, you old dinosaur, da-da-da-da-da-da, and something like that. I knew Randy would fucking flip. So I saved it. Me being young and fucking smart and still good looking, by the way. And I fucking saved it. The next week, Randy Savage, and I don't know what year this is about 98, this is like 99, 2000. Me and Randy were main event on Thunder. He beat my fucking brains out. Now, not like a shoot where I was hurting, but close. It became close a few times that I was going to put a stop to it and, you know, just see what Randy had. You know, live TV, what do you got? What do you got? Let's see, you know. But he kept it professional the whole way, but I was getting ate up. I mean, he had that good-looking chick, looked like Pamela Anderson, Gorgeous George or whatever. He had her drop, kick me off the top. He had the other chick drop, kick me off the fucking top. I mean, this is the main event, bro, and I'm Buff Bagwell, and we're the main event on Thunder, and all the fans saw was 10 minutes of Buff getting his fucking brains beat out. So after the show was over, Macho walked up cocky and goes, "Next time, brother, you be thinking about what you say." And I already had the paper out because I knew it was coming. Here. I handed him the paper. I swear to God, his face was white. I said, "Bro, you just took a fucking main event match that could have been spectacular and turned it to shit because you're a fucking egotistical fucking maniac." And I'm not even going to follow up with, "And God rest your soul. I love him to death," but I didn't then. I mean, he beat me fucking up because of something they told me to say. You know, and I had proof of it in fucking ink that I could go here. You know, and showed him, and he felt bad about it. He felt bad because he liked me. We got along. We actually got along very good. But he definitely was pissed about it and thought he was, you know, getting me back by kicking my ass on Thunder because I called him old. And it was just fucking stupid. But long story short, it was things like that you had to conquer constantly and overcome, and egos. But that's why the new blood thing didn't work, because the old timers were not prepared to be honest with you, wasn't prepared to rip us a new ass. Think about it, bro. You got Hogan, Nash, Hall. I mean, all of these incredible fucking stallions that are still, if you want to call it old blood or whatever you want to call it, it's still stallions, bro, that have made millions and millions of dollars in this business. And they still didn't take it or accept it. They wasn't having it, bro. They wasn't having it. So that's why the new blood thing never happened. Egos.
Yeah, I got a question here. I do have a question here. I know Granny's still on with us here, too, and I want to let Granny get in here, too.
That's okay. I've been sitting here listening to these amazing stories.
Oh yeah, but I hear. But this is the one story I want to know. How shocking was it for you when you had that bulldog off the top rope from Rick Steiner that had you that partially paralyzed you for a while? How scary did that get for you?
11 minutes to be exact. And it was as real as it gets, bro, because 11 minutes of being fully 100% convinced that you're paralyzed, motherfucker, you're paralyzed. 11 minutes is an eternity when you're fucking paralyzed. So you're convinced. I'd already gone that 11 minutes. I'd already gone from, okay, all right, you're Buff Bagwell, now you're paralyzed. Christopher Reeves was still alive at the time. And I remember going, you can do what Christopher Reeves does. You can go to schools and talk to schools and everything. What the world didn't know is I had bought $100,000 lot that day, drove off in my $85,000 Jaguar, building $1 million home, and I'm laying there paralyzed. That's what the people didn't know. I mean, literally, I wrote a check for $100,000, got in my Jag, and drove to Columbia, South Carolina, and broke my neck. So here goes my Harley dreams, my Jaguar dreams, my build my house dreams, all washed down the tubes, and I'm paralyzed. Instead, about the 11-minute mark, instead of around the 11-minute mark, our trainer named Danny goes, "Your left hand's moving." And I couldn't raise my head up and look, but I could turn and look because I was at 3-4. Which 3-4 is about shoulders down if you're really paralyzed. What happened to me was I bruised my spinal cord. When you bruise your spinal cord, it swells. And when it swells, you can't feel things until the swelling goes down. Then when it goes down, you're almost back to normal, except you got to go in and fix it unless it happens again. You got to fix it. So it's called getting fused. Well, I fucking walk in there, duct tape over the forehead, 2 hours of CAT scans and MRIs, and me being paralyzed, and I move my fingers and toes because that's all I can move. And I never stopped moving them. And they came in and doctor goes, "Well, we've looked at everything, and here's what we think it is. Set up." And I went, "What?" Now, here's a guy that thinks I'm paralyzed the rest of my life, and I've already started making plans to go talk to schools as a paralyzed wrestler, bro. I mean, I've already started making that plan, laying on my mat in the middle of the ring while live cameras on me. All you got to do is go to some kind of form of Marcus, Buff, Bagwell, and broken neck match, and you will see it in any form you want to phrase those words, and you'll see Rick Steiner miss me. I try to catch up to him and break my fucking neck. And thank God I only bruised my spinal cord when I broke it, but it could have broke it and severed it. Your spinal cord is the same material as a hot dog. And I learned that on this surgery.
Oh, wow.
So think about how easy a butter knife or a plastic knife cuts through a hot dog. Pretty easy, right? Mm-hmm. So, they must have severed that, and your cervical disc are in between your plates. And that's what hit my cord to bruise it and didn't sever it, thank God.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. That is a wow.
Wow.
So, long story short, I wasn't, you know me, I wasn't done with it. So Sting, Lex, and I think Bischoff rode an ambulance with me to the hospital, the local hospital there, and I had them wheel me out in the wheelchair, and I was all slumped over. And all of a sudden, when I came out to them, they're all crying and shit, and I come up into a double bicep. And they went, what the fuck? What are you doing? And I go, bro. I got up and started doing my buck strut. I was 100% totally healed. It's just, if anybody like a Rick Steiner or one of them rough boys like that were to come up behind me and shove me again, it was going to happen again to me, and it could sever it this time. Because now the cervical disc is against my cord. So they put me in the hospital like jail because they knew I was going to go out. They knew I was going to work out. They knew there was a chance I would fuck it up. So they put me in the hospital. So Eric Watts would come up, bring a 12-pack of beer, and we play fucking board games and drink beer and take pills and have fun while I was getting ready for my daughter, because my daughter couldn't operate till Monday, and it was like a Friday.
Oh, wow.
So we waited, and of course got the surgery done, and there's a lot of complications with the surgery too. But long story short, people always ask, how's your neck? And I said, fuck, that's the easiest thing. That's the best one. My neck, the good news is the operation went great. The things after kind of messed up a little bit with, there was some blood clotting and some things that had to go back in. I had 3 surgeries on my neck, but only one with the bolts and screws. They bolted and screwed together 3, 4, and 6, 7, which means I got 2 plates and 8 screws in my neck. But at the same time, there was a lot of problems that happened around that, like with the blood clotting, and they had to put a drainage tube that hung out of my shirt like that fucking black guy that's got the clock around his neck, whatever his fucking name is. It's like I had a fucking big cross thing around my neck, like a big what's up, and it was really just a blood catcher.
So you've had 3 neck surgeries then?
They went in 3 times, but I've only been, like I said, the only time they really, bolts and screws and surgery was one.
That first main one.
And they nailed it. But I had complications with bleeding, and afterwards, I don't know if you know what a CC is, but 90 of them is a fucking bunch. 90 CCs collaborated as about half a softball on my throat. And I couldn't figure it out. And I couldn't figure it out, bro. I had to shave around that motherfucker, look at it, press it, look at it, see. I mean, think about a half a salt. Think about a goiter being out of your fucking neck, and you try to figure it out. So couldn't figure it out. I finally go to the doctor one day, just one of my regular visits, and just try to figure it out again. And sure enough, they found out when they drained it, it was not 90 cc's came out of my neck. 90 drained out of my neck. They were just cleaning it one day, going to rebandage it up, get everything good to go. And instead, that day, it started to actually, drain. and 90 cc's came out, brother, of this brown. It didn't stink. It didn't stink or anything. But it was brown blood. And after that, there was no looking back. It was just Buff Daddy all the way.
So then you went to TNA after that and continued working, correct?
Went to TNA after that, continued working. I continued working. Think about it, bro. That was 98. So I had the rest of 98, 99, 2000, and some of 2001 at WCW.
Wow. That's when they did the had your mom suspended on the forklift and all that deal.
That's when there was the Judy on the forklift match, what happens to be last pay-per-view match of WCW.
I remember that. I remember that.
Wow.
I had to win the match over Canyon, which, God rest his soul, is dead now. And I had to go beat him and then go lower my mother down from a forklift, and somebody thought this was a good fucking idea. And it was the same night that David Arquette beat Goldberg, bro.
Remember that too.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Wow.
Someone by the does a name start with a V?
Right.
I'm a Vince Russo defender, but I do admit, I think Vince Russo tried too hard to get WCW talked about, and I think he wanted it to happen way too fast.
Let's go facts. Let's go facts for a second. This is a fact. This is ear to ear. This isn't internet. This isn't a fan that's typed in and try to figure out what's going on. This is a fucking fact, which means you've heard it ear to ear, face to face with somebody. Vince Russo, when he was hired, came to us and brought us singular to the room, all the top guys, which by that time being top, meaning probably 30 or 40 guys. He got all the top guys in his office and said, the problem with WCW is the promoter is always in charge, and he uses his friends and everything else, and it's just too much. It's too much. And he goes, he said, and all the promoters are on television. They put themselves over like Eric did, and that was his argument. Well, Eric did it, and he was in every segment and this and that. My deal, he said, and he said, it's all of us. He said, my deal is going to be, I am never going to be seen on television. And if you remember at the very beginning, the Harris brothers were his speaking tools. And he didn't say a word all the way to having a bat and beating everybody up and being in every motherfucking segment. So when your boss is in every segment, what do you do, That was what he was trying to cure. He was trying to cure that problem of WCW of, in other words, you don't see Vince McMahon in 8 segments. You may see him in 1 or 2, if at all, anymore. But he literally, I think at one time, I'm sure, I think Vince Russo may have been the fucking world champion at one time. I'm not sure.
He was.
Which makes him one more world champion than I've been. Okay? That's crazy. So what made us believe? What made us believe in Vince Russo was he was not going to be on TV. He wasn't going to be a star person. He was going to put the stars over the way they needed to be. And he fucking didn't. I love him. I had a great podcast with him about a couple years ago. Love him to death, but I'm just telling the facts. That is 100% a fucking fact. And that's what you get when you talk to me. It's not 99%, not 98.7, motherfucking 100% the facts. That's what he said. He could never say to you guys, you ever got him on the phone, he could never, ever say he didn't say that. Ever. Because you could say, well, Buff Bagwell told us, that you guys, and if he says that, then fucking call me instantly, and I'll rip him the fuck apart. I was.
Are you still working in the ring, or are you just doing appearances now?
I still work, bro. I still do it. Believe it or not, I still do it. That's with 9 surgeries over the last 5 years. I've had 2 shoulder replacements. I've had 5 hip surgeries on 1 hip.
Jesus.
1.
Well, let me tell you something, guys.
Right now, hold on. Right now, you got to be saying the words. How does anybody get 5? Anybody listening even needs to hear this. How do you get 5 hip surgeries on 1 hip? Well, let me tell you why. And hey, it's a good story. And it's short. The first one didn't fuse, so they put a second one in that was supposedly called the tank. It was a Mac Daddy, going to be perfect, great to go. They put 2 in, which is my second surgery. I get a blood clot. They go in to remove the blood clot. I get staph.
Oh, shit.
Guess what number 4 surgery does?
I'm afraid to ask.
I know.
I really do. I want you to guess what you think the 4th surgery does from what I just told you.
So you got staph in one, you got a blood clot in another. Paralyzation of the left side, or whatever side it was on?
Everything comes out.
Oh, no.
Everything, because everything has staph on it.
Oh, wow.
Then you got another guess here for fun. Guess what the 5th surgery's like?
Replacing everything and then some?
Hopefully the 5th surgery, everything was a success and no blood clots and no staph infection.
The 5th surgery was said to be said, y'all both got it right, but to be said perfectly, the 5th surgery was just like my first. A hip replacement.
Wow.
Yeah. 5, motherfucker. 5.
Mm-mm.
And I can fucking
those blood
wrestle.
clots are definitely nothing to mess with.
Dude, it's just, I don't go that route, but I go with God and love and luck and being healthy and being in shape and having my body I can actually train and not hurt now that I got 2. Keep in mind, we ain't talked about the 2 shoulder, not surgeries, shoulder replacements. So I got 2 fake shoulders. So
is that all the overworking or all the bumps?
Check out my Instagram, check out my Facebook, and see me in the gym. I look pretty damn good considering. I really do. I'm hanging on pretty good. I'm going to get better because I don't hurt.
What makes you keep going then? I mean, all these surgeries and everything, and you've been through hell and back car crashes. almost died behind the wheel. What keeps Buff Bagwell going?
Fantastic question. And you actually answered it. You actually answered it with half of your ending. My name, Buff. Arn Anderson, when I was 28 years old, looked at me signing autographs one day. And he said, "You're going to regret that name one day." And I said, "What the fuck you mean?" He goes, "Just trust me. You're going to regret that name one day." I'm 25, and I look like a fucking pro bodybuilder and could have gone pro bodybuilder if I wanted to, but there's no money in it. So I stuck with wrestling. And he told me that, and I had no idea what he was talking about until the car wreck. So I'm 42. I'm back in the gym trying to figure it out. And I call my father. And I say, "Dad," I said, "something's not going on, bro. Something's not right." I said, you know how I know my body? I mean, you don't get named Buff Bagwell unless you're fucking kind of with it. So I tell him, I said, "Dude, this is what's happening. I don't know what's going on." He goes, "Son, you're 42, bro." I said, no, Dad, no, you're not listening to me. I said, no, this and that, I threw out something else. He said, "Son, you're 42. And I still kind of hung up with him, a little bit pissed off and a little bit going, he's fucking wrong.
I got to lock it up.
3 months later, I called him back and I said, "I just wanted to let you know that I'm sorry and I apologize for doubting you, but you're right. I'm 42.
Wow.
And it really told a lot because, bro, at 42, things don't do what they used to do, bro. So I really, to be honest with you, never looked like I wanted to look since 2012 when I had the wreck, which I was 42. That I really never had the abs that Buff had, the pecs that Buff had, the arms, the shoulders, none of that. But I'm working on all that now because I don't know no other way to do it but just to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting till I look pretty fucking close to the same, bro. And I'm on my way if you check out my Instagram stuff. All you got to do is go to marcusbuffbagwell.com and check it out. But I mean, I'm lean, but I'm a good lean. I'm like a 220 and ripped lean, So I'm, at 49 years old, I'm pretty fucking happy with that, bro.
Yeah, I would say so, especially for all that you've been through. And I know wrestling
how do you
tears you apart.
I want a bitch, but how do you?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, guys. When I saw him at CWA in Maumelle, Arkansas, when he came to wrestle down there for Matt Revere, and I got to see him perform that night, and Granny got to talk to him, I tell you, his match was absolutely amazing. They did benefit shows, and the first show that they did was for a girl named Caitlin. She had leukemia or something, and they did a DVD of the show, which I have a copy of. This guy was absolutely amazing in his match. And I don't know if Buff remembers this or not, but they call him the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. But when he wrestled with Matt Revere for TCW, they were part of a group called the Empire. And I always called him Golden Girl. And he would always get
Golden Boy Greg Anthony. Yeah.
Yes. I called him. Matter of fact, I had my posters that I made him a poster that night that said Golden Girl Greg Anthony. I was called him Golden Girl at TCW. And I tell you, you talk about blood clots. I mean, Granny's had her share of blood clots, and I know how scary that can be. But guys, I mean, you should have seen him that night in his match. He was absolutely amazing. And I was so blessed and so honored to be able to get to meet him and get his autograph. And I mean, my husband and my son, I mean, my son just got out of a psychiatric unit here about a week ago, Buff. I mean, he's 32 years old. He has bipolar disorder, and he's living back in Springdale now.
Give me the number, because I need to check in that motherfucker. So give me the number.
What, a psychiatric unit?
Absolutely, I do.
Well, I know, but I mean, my son's better, thank goodness. They had to change one of his medications.
I'm glad. How's he doing now?
He's better. He's more himself, because, you know, the day we brought him home, picked him up from the hospital, he was more himself. But while he was in there, he had so much major depression going on, and anxiety, and manic and depression going on at the same time. I mean, he had just had this blank.
Xanax or no Xanax? Or
well, they took him off of the Geodon and put him on Paxil, which is an antidepressant. But I mean, he's doing better since he came home. He has been a Buff Bagwell fan for years. Just like, I mean, we are like three of your number one fans, my friend.
If you guys need anything like that, please, all you gotta do, you got my number, is text me and let me know you need an autograph. All you got to do is send a self-addressed stamped envelope back to where you want me to come from and tell me where to sign it. And I do it. And I do that for all the fans. And I'm telling the fans that right now. And you can, I mean, the address is 2524 Deering Place, Northeast. And that's in Atlanta, Georgia, 30345. Anything you send to that address that's got a and please let me underline this, that has a self-addressed stamped envelope involved, I will sign it and send it back. If not, it's not worth my fucking time and trouble. It's just not. I love my fans. Right. I'll do anything in the world for them, but it's not my time to go buy a stamp and where they're at. I mean, I get shit from Japan and Germany, bro, to this day. To just 2 days ago, I got one from Germany. Germany, bro. Germany. Wow. So here's the WWE that fired me 18 years ago that is still getting Germany tickets. I mean, Germany fan letters. I wonder, please hear me, all three, please hear me say this. I wonder how many guys they got under contract that have received a fan letter from Germany or Japan lately.
I don't know.
Right. What would be your
probably
guess?
not very many. Probably not very many, because they don't let them be their own. They don't let them be their own person.
No, they don't. Dude, they gotta call themselves entertainers now instead of wrestlers. Yeah. If they say the word wrestler, they get fined $10,000.
Jesus.
They are entertainers. It's nuts.
Are you still in touch with Scott Norton?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, he's doing my podcast this next Wednesday, so he'll be on live like the Sunday the 4th, I think. But we'll keep that all involved on my podcast. You just go to Buff and Booch Cast on Podbean.com. And it'll tell all about that. But actually, I haven't already interviewed him, so it's gonna be fun. I did Scotty Riggs last week, which is still not aired yet. I've got Sting already in the can that's not aired yet that I'm so excited about. That's a good one.
Now, see, I have always wanted to meet Sting. I have always wanted to meet Sting, and I've never gotten. I mean, because Sting comes to I think it's called Oklafan. Jerry Bostic does the shows over like near Oklahoma City and Ardmore in that area. And I know sometimes Sting has been to his main shows, and I've always wanted to meet Sting. That's on Granny's bucket list. I mean, I've met wonderful people like you, Buff, and Carlito, and Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, I've met some big-time names over the years. You know, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer used my cane on Matt Riviera at the last TCW show they did in Fort Smith, Arkansas in 2013.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And Brian Thompson, he's like, Granny, what do you think you're doing? This isn't fans bring your own weapons match. And I'm like, I'm standing there taking pictures, and he takes it out of my hand. I'm not going to stop Tommy Dreamer from taking my cane out of my hand. Sorry, guys, it's not going to happen. And, I mean, the crowd was going wild. They loved it when he used my cane on Matt Riviera.
Right.
But, what's your podcast again, Boots?
Buff and Bootscast on Podbean.com. Buff and Bootscast on Podbean.com. And that's the best way to reach, that to hear the site. And you actually, when you go there, you can hear the Lex one already because we've already done it. You can hear me and DDP and Mark Marrow, Johnny B. Bat. That was my first one. You hear those. It's already been uploaded and done. Scott Steiner's already been done. I did Scott Steiner last week. He aired this past Sunday. So now it's going to be Sting next, I think, and then Scott Norton, and then we're going to call Steve Austin. Hope to see he's already said yes, but just to get a definite date from him.
All right, Buff and Boots.
Booch. Boots.
BOO what?
BOOCH. Buff and Bootscast.
That's what I was missing.
No problem.
Okay.
At podbean.com.
Yeah, because I'm on Podbean right now.
Yeah, when you go there, you can go to Lex. You can go to DDP's interview. You can go to Steiner's interview. Those three have already been aired. But Sting's is coming up, I think, this Sunday, and then it'll be Riggs the next Sunday, and it'll be Scott Norton the next Sunday.
Yeah, because I grew up with Scott Norton, Raven, all those guys in Portland when they all first started out up here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's where they started out at.
Yeah. I was huge in the Don Owens era. And met a lot of those guys back in the day.
Great, dude.
I'd like to get Scott on our show.
Oh, that's easy, bro. If y'all can't get it done, call me and I'll get him to do it instantly. He's a good guy. He loves me. He loves me to death. He loves me to death. So all you got to do is just give it a go. If you don't get a reaction, call me and I'll get you set up with him.
Sweet. Yeah, because Dougie did time in Portland too. So Dougie and Raven, I think Scott was already gone, I think, or maybe not. I don't remember. Doug's not here because I can't remember.
Right, it's all right. It's all good regardless.
Well, Buff, Granny has a birthday next month on the 29th of August.
How old is Granny going to be?
I will be 57 years old and very proud to be 57 because let me tell you, when I back in 2004, you were talking about blood clots. I actually had 2 blood clots in my right leg, and one of them went to my lung while I was in the hospital. And they said if I hadn't been in the hospital, I would have died. So obviously God was not ready for Granny Hulkster. And, of course, back then, that was before Granny Hulkster was even thought of, back then in 2004. Granny Hulkster has only been around for the past, about 19 years, you know. So, yeah. But anyways, but I'll be 57 next month.
Wow, that's great, man. Congratulations on that. And I'm 49 and feel stupid saying the word 49, so I'm going to start saying 50. Because saying 49 is like saying I'm 49 and a half years old.
Well, it has been a true pleasure and an honor to...
I'm fucking 50.
Yep.
Yeah, I just turned, I'll be 51 in March.
Yep. But it's been a true blessing to be able to have gotten to talk to you tonight, sir, and a true honor and a true pleasure.
No. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely thanks for coming on, Buff, and I really appreciate it, and glad you didn't jump ship on us because Doug wasn't here. I was worried.
I always do what I'm said, and actually I had to back out on Doug a couple of weeks ago because my mom just had gone to the hospital, and I just couldn't do it. And
right, that's what he had said.
He understood, and we got it redone. So all's good to go, and we're good to go, bro.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, definitely. And I'll have to get a hold of you. Maybe you can get Scott and a couple of guys set up for us.
Oh, dude, like I said, that'd be no problem whatsoever. These guys, they trust me because I tell the truth, which is unlike most of the fucking United States of America. I tell the truth.
Right.
So I'm able to let you guys know what's going on and give you straight up, hey, look, you can get Scott Norton at this number or you're fucked.
Right.
Right. One or the other I can give you, I promise.
I appreciate it, brother. Bob, are you still there?
Good one. Yeah, I'm here still. I want to guys. Thank you guys so much.
All right, Bob.
For everything.
Thank you very much.
Y'all have a good night.
You too, Bob.
Bye-bye.
Wow, good interview. Good interview.
Wow. That was good. That was a good one. Doug's gonna be sad he missed this one.
He'll arrange to have another interview done. He'll do it. Just when I
and now I got us set with we can get Scott. Buff will get us Scott Norton. He could probably get us Raven. We start getting some good guests, and having the quality shows helps. That went a little better today. It's really hard. The only thing I don't like about these other two platforms is where with Blog Talk, if you can control when they're on and when they're not, you can basically mute
I know
them
what you're
to where
saying
they
there.
can
Yeah, we'll
still
talk
hear
about
the
that
show.
off the air. We'll talk about that off the air. I know where you're going with that.
Oh, I thought we were off.
No, we're not off the air yet. I didn't know if you wanted to say your goodbyes or not yet. Now would you go and play the closing music?
Yeah, we'll just roll on out. Thank you, Granny. If you're still there,
It's just you and me now.
it's just you and me then. Okay.
So,
All right. Well, that's it for this week. Filling in for the co-host, or for the host. I'm the co-host of the most, the sensational one. We'll see you next week.